Hi guys, welcome to Screech Bomb Commentaries. My name is David, Baron von Fabulous Lark,
My name is Callum, the good Dr. Young.
and we're here today to bring you some more Keyforge Premier League action. This is round 6 of the group stages, getting towards the tail end of the group stages now. It's all hotting up, and this is a top of the table clash. Do you want to tell us which group this is from and who's playing in it today, Callum?
Yeah, so here we have Group G. We have Dammat versus Soadfly. And it's worth noting this is a inter-team clash.
It is indeed, yeah.
Both from Italian resurgence.
A house
Leading the group.
divided.
Cannot stand. Dammat leading the group with 4 wins out of 4. Soadfly close behind with 3 wins out of 4.
Yeah, looking to knock Dammat off that undefeated streak. And if he does, it's going to have some real implication for the top of the table. If you think if Dammat wins this, he's probably going to be taking that top spot. Not to play the playoffs, but if Soadfly gets this, it really kind of like makes that final week much more interesting.
Yep, so let's see what we've got today. And I've got to say, we are looking at some of the top ends of SAS today. So starting with Dammat's deck, we're looking at an average SAS of 89.6. Yeah.
Oh.
Yup.
Oh.
It's going to be some spicy Keyforge.
Yeah, that's two decks above 90 SAS. I mean, it's lineup.
So starting with K Miller, Eminence of Pecoromite. And we have some Coda at its peak, I think.
Yeah, I describe this as the grey goose of Kota. You know, it's been distilled to almost the quintessence of Kota. Because I think we were talking about this before we started the recording. I think like I changed the Carlo Phantom for a Team TP and like the Ganymede Archivist for a library access, and other than that, this deck I would not change at all. It just has everything you want.
I mean, yeah, you've got the Logos, which has 3 mothers, 2 sloppy lab works, a wild wormhole, and a lab works that's going to draw, bit of archiving, all great. An interdimensional graft for a big Ember control.
Yeah.
Handy. You've got the Shadows, which is all steel, triple Urchin, and a Fagin, double Ghostly Hand, and then a bunch of things like Lights Out, Nerve Blast, all handy, all very useful.
Yeah, Fagin with 3 Urchins, obviously Fagin return an Urchin from play or from your discard pile to your hands and just kind of keep replaying those steely boys.
They will pick a pocket or 2.
They will indeed. And then the Untamed, and this Untamed is gross, especially with the card draw you've got in the Logos. Like, I think easily can forge 2 keys in a turn with this Untamed, and I think it wouldn't be completely out of the realms of possibility to see a 3 forged turn, you know, with the double nature's calls, the Treasure Hatcheries, the Black Seers, the Hunting Witches, just everything you want.
Generating Ember so quickly and forging keys out of step. It's just going to be very hard to beat. The thing that I think its problem is it's lacking creature control, as are many of the top Coda decks. But you've got some decent. You don't have a full white, but still a couple of decent things.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be very much using the strategy of most Coda decks, whereby you're just going, can do what you want, mate. I'm just going to make ridiculous amounts of Ember and forge keys, and if you try and stop me, you probably can't.
Go ahead.
You know, you also got a common cold, not a card you see all that often, which is deal 1 damage to each creature, and you may destroy all Mars creatures. With the obviously leaving of Mars, this has become less and less of a factor, but you know, still a fun card.
And we do have a Mars deck on the other side of the table today.
Possibly some of the grossest art in Keyforge too.
Yeah, that's real grim.
Yeah.
All right, so let's look at B. Wadsworth, the Archer of Skepticism.
Indeed, let's look at it now. This is my kind of Keyforge. What I like to see: big dinos and friends.
Big chunky dinos. So we start off with the Saurians, and you have a Cincinnatus Rex Golden Spiral combo.
You do indeed, the old Spiral Rex.
So obviously has the ability to just go off, generate like borderline infinite Ember, particularly with the Philophosaurus.
Yeah.
Could get absolutely ridiculous.
And also just really nice creatures to have alongside that too. So, you know, Philophosaurus, great one to have repeatedly reaping with that Spiral Rex effect. Pompetus means when you're adding that Ember 2 creatures, it's giving the real benefit. Trisurian Legionary, put a bit of a ward on. Scutum, probably going to wind up on that Cincinnatus Rex. But you've also got the
Yeah.
TMTP, which means that if your opponent is getting all that Ember back, then you're going to be pretty
Yep.
happy about stealing it right back away from them
I
too.
mean, even without the Spiral Rex combo, right? The rest of the dinos are a pretty decent set of
Yeah,
creatures that are going to be pretty big and hard to deal with.
very much so. Yeah, we probably would like a Ludo, but you know, when you're at a 91 SAS deck, you can't be complaining that much.
And you got the TMTP, as you said, to potentially fix that with a bunch
Mhm.
of steel. So the Shadows here is 38 SAS, which is
It is,
one of the
yeah.
highest I've seen in any house.
Yeah,
And
especially in Worlds Collide, where Shadows is a good house, but it's not usually like the
often,
focus.
yeah, often underrated. But you have 2 Ronnies and a Kaimor, lots of steel there. You've got a Brand with a couple of ways in house to take it out, either
Yeah,
no safety in numbers or a Spike Trap.
indeed, indeed.
You've got the TMTP, and instantly here you have the TMTP combined with the rigged lottery.
You do.
So
Oh, yes.
if
And
you're
you,
up against another Shadow stack, you can play your rigged lottery, potentially give them a lot of Ember, and then immediately steal it from them.
oh, that's so mean.
Just real mean. just real mean.
Yeah, and last but by no means least, we're talking about the Dis here, and just some really nice, like some useful things in the Dis. You've got Poltergeist, so that artifact control, Binding Irons, slow people down, not finish you for the recursion. But I think some of the combinations you can do with the Exhume can be really good here. Exhuming Ronnies, exhuming Brens just before you're about to Harbinger of Doom, exhuming Tricerian Legionaries, just to kind of like ward some precious creatures. Yeah, Odoax as well, excellent one to see.
And then you have the double fair game,
Hmm.
which feels risky to me. That like you don't necessarily see a lot of high level Keyforge decks with that level of sort of randomness in them
It's
necessarily.
true. It's true. I mean, I think the thing with this deck is that with it being a slower deck, you probably a lot of time you're going to be kind of curating towards a big dis turn. So you're going to have like pretty much entirely dis in your
Yeah.
hand, and then quite risk free just play a fair game where you've only got like 1 or 2 cards of another house in hand, and you're just like, well, they might get 1 or 2 Ember, but I've got a pretty decent chance of getting like 3 or 4 from them, and the cards fall as they do.
Uh, and you've got the evil eye as well to maybe cancel some of that out if you nudge them too
Definitely,
high.
definitely do. Yeah,
And 30 expected Ember is just going to be very rich in Ember,
very
as well
tricky
as
to
doing a
deal
lot
with.
of nonsense.
Indeed, yeah.
It's going to be hard to beat that
Yeah.
deck.
What's the big thing? Speed, only 3.3, so not a fast deck. In the slightest, Philophosaurus, the only draw in the deck. Probably would be a bit concerned, but other than that, you're going to be having a real good time with this deck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then move into Leela, the special of the Ballerina Library.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just very strong all-round mass mutation. All of the houses pretty much do some of what you want, right? So you have speed in all of them. You've got Dav with 8 mutants. You've got an auto encoder. You've got 7 draw pips, double new frontiers,
Mm-hmm.
double QMX, lethal logica. So you're just going to go through your deck, as reflected by the
Yeah.
25 speed there.
Couple of perplexing sophistries as well, which
Yeah.
can also draw you card, but also like random discards on your opponent. Always very happy to see it.
Then you're looking at Ember Control, which is on the lighter side, but is still like double bonizing, Rad Penny, with enhanced with a capture and a draw.
Yep.
Which is a
Yeah,
real
I'll have a look at
nice.
the enhancements here, but yeah, you can see it does indeed have a capture and a draw. You're also looking at some pretty nice enhancements on those upgrades. So blast shielding with a draw icon, really good with that transporter platform. Similarly, observe you match with a damage icon, not as good, but still could definitely do some work. And if you're putting them on that Tink with the capture icon, then you can be doing some real nice stuff there.
Yeah, and I think the expected Ember is only 23, but I think that's going to underplay it between because you got 16 in pips alone, and you're going to go through the deck really quickly. I think you can get.
Yeah, also another thing I'm thinking here, 2 of the Star Alliance creatures are mutants as well. So Transport Platform and Dark Ember Vault
Yep.
is even grosser under that,
You
where
think
you
that
can
the
play the subject Kirby
could
twice, play 2
yeah.
other creatures twice, and draw 2 cards twice.
Going to be real gross. And the creature control is good too. You've got Bouncing Death Squawk, you've got Red Alerts, a couple of other bits of sort of spot damage between sort of Subdue, Lights Out, Mug.
Yeah.
Just all round very good.
Yeah, this is the thing. I think this deck it's very much your kind of deck where you can like play things out of house. You can just kind of keep the deck moving. You're very rarely going to have turns where you're playing like less than 3 or 4 cards, and a lot of turns where you're playing a lot more than that too.
I do like doing that.
You do
It's true.
indeed.
It's very fun.
Mhm.
So that's Dammat from one side of Italian Resurgence. Let's look at the other side of Italian
Let's
Resurgence
look at that now.
with Soadfly.
Indeed. So we've got
And
Olympia Paladina dell'Antro
yeah,
Accieo.
I just want to note this from the very beginning that this deck has a speed of 23 and is the slowest, the least speedy of Soadfly's 3 decks. And yeah, this guy likes fast decks, and I am all for it. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, I mean, this is just ludicrously fat. I mean, you looking at the logos just to begin with, you got your Help the Future Self with your Time Traveler, library access with double Wild Wormhole, so potential for just drawing ridiculous numbers of cards off that.
Yeah.
Libraries to Babbles, Labworks, Mothers, just.
You have the phase shift with the library access, with which you can hit a battle fleet
Oh,
to
yeah.
potentially draw huge amounts of cards mid
Yeah.
LA turn.
A lot of really nice phase shift targets too. You've got Soft Landing can work really well with that Time Traveler.
Big orbital bombardment.
Always happy to see like a Control the Weak off a phase shift 2 is one that I quite like doing.
Yeah. Especially if you're generating a lot of Ember and building a big board.
Also, a Rise can be really good as well. If you've got that library access quite late, you've already played like some of your Logos cards, like your Mothers and Time Travelers. A Rise
Yep.
them back up, play them again.
Yeah, really handy. So that's just going to draw you a hell of a load of cards. What do you then do with them? I think you then look at the Mars and the Dis.
Yeah.
So the Mars is interesting. You don't often see Coda Mars at this sort of competitive level, but this is all the things you would kind of expect mostly.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got your battle fleet to draw a bunch. You've got the soft landing and the squawker to make them go a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the one thing is that the Mars creatures are not the best creatures you'll see. You've got no John Smith, you've got no Zookeeper, you've got you maybe want like a Mega Mouth to do things out of house, like kind of Bolters. There's many great cards, don't get me wrong, but not like the kind of like top tier Mars cards that you really kind of want to see.
Careful.
Yeah,
we have a lot of long term friends of the show who are big Zizix fans.
Hey, look, I'm not. I love a Zizix. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, like, if you're choosing between a Zizix and a Zookeeper, I think most people choose a Zookeeper. Whether they're correct or not is another matter. But I'm the will of the people here.
It's true. The people do love Zookeeper. And then the Dis, you're looking at very useful control with a potentially huge Arise, where you drop down, well, not huge, but big, where you drop down like 2 Succubuses, a Pit Demon, and a Master of 3.
Yeah, Master of 3. Bit of a double-edged one, like, there's quite a few 3-power creatures in the deck.
Yeah, like, you have a lot of 3s.
Yeah, so you might be stuck in a situation where you can't really reap with a Master of 3, unfortunately. But that's my big concern about this deck is just like Amber generation, really. Like only 18 Ember, I suppose, with 14 of that being pips. You want to plan on just playing the deck a whole bunch and getting those pips that way.
Yeah, especially as you don't have much Ember control either. You're very short, so I think you're looking to try and go quick here.
You are.
But yeah, Dammat's got some quick decks, so it might not be quick enough.
And I could see this deck possibly struggling in games where like a library access is later, like a battle fleet is later. You could really struggle in those kind of games to just kind of like that run over, and in a situation where the creature control isn't the best, apart from that game with a Dis, and you kind of just a bit like get kind of outraced.
Yeah. So moving on, we have Vida Hook, Messenger of Delfino Vitale.
Ah, lovely.
And this is a sort of specific archetype that you get a lot in MM, but also exists in a lot of other sets where it's sort of play pips and like clear the board a lot, and it has a very low board presence. So it will go very quick, 25 speed, getting a little bit quicker. And we have the double Cronus at 5 draw pips. You have a Lethalogica, you have double Eclectic Inquiry, you've got an Auto Encoder, you've got in the Star Alliance, New Frontiers, Survey, just to keep it going.
Yeah, slightly unfortunately with that double Cronus, I think only 2 of the draw pips are actually in Logos, and one of those is on the Auto Encoder. So not going to be archiving as much from just having played the Cronus, but still very much potential to get some archiving off of that.
You will. So then you clear the board a lot, where you've got Gateway to Dis, you've got a Gleeful Mayhem, Pain Mail.
Yeah, you also got
Double Doom.
You also got a Hayden Oswin, which I feel like I don't see very much for an uncommon. which reap gain 1 for each upgrade on Hayden Oswin.
It gets killed a lot when it
Yeah,
appears. The thing you kind of know to kill it very quickly, and there aren't as many upgrades in MM that boost its survivability. So no Light of the Archons
big true.
is the
Yeah,
big thing that's missing. I
yeah,
think
that's very
surely
true.
because of stuff like this, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just nothing that really increases power. I suppose is more things. You've got stuff like, I mean, you're obviously on a stealthster, but
Yeah.
nothing else really. Yeah, fair enough.
One particularly cool combo I wanted to identify, because there's a bunch of little tricks in the stack. You have a Pain Mail, which is going to let you upgrade stuff and kill it a bunch. And then you have a Matter Maker,
Ooh.
which lets you play upgrades out of house.
Oh, that is pretty good. Yeah,
So I think that makes your Pain Mail much more efficient,
it does indeed. Yeah.
because you can put it on something as soon as you get it back, rather than just on distance.
Yeah, I mean, also just going to be able to play like Disruption Field and Stunner out of house too, which is useful. Just kind of like getting that extra little bit of speed, a little kick on.
Yeah, and get some points on the Disruption Field.
Mm-hmm.
And we probably should flag up the Redacted.
Yes, we definitely should.
Because we're not looking at a huge amount of artifact control in 2 out of 3 decks.
We're really not. No, see, I think that Redacted could definitely potentially go off, and with the speed of this deck and like I think the likelihood is you might be taking actually quite a few Logos turns, like over the course of it, kind of using those at collecting inquiries, kind of discarding. You can really kind of like just make sure you're taking good Logos turns and using that Redacted a lot.
Yep. And then, yeah, I have a Mark of Dis just to crush the thing by finishing it off and leaving someone with probably a turn skip.
Yes, indeed.
And then we get even faster with the third deck.
If you want to go faster,
Melon,
you got to scream louder.
He who refashions the library.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a very specific sort of Worlds Collide archetype, Logo Star Alliance Untamed, which you basically play as many cards as you feasibly can at any given point, put together big boards of small creatures and generate huge amounts of Ember very quickly. And as a result, it has 28 speed and 4.8 Ember control.
Jesus.
Yep, it's gonna be real fun. So
It's pretty crazy.
Let's look at the speed. You have triple Igor, double Daughter, Edine, a Tau Tau in the logos, and a Bibliophile.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's like, I think that's 2/3 of the cards in logos draw you cards or archive cards in some way there for you.
Yeah, in the Star Alliance, you've got Kirby, the Kirby's Blaster, you've got a Grey, you've got a Walls, all sort of efficiency and recursion.
Also got an Uncharted Lands, which is an interesting one. Not too much Star Alliance in Dammat's lineup, so could be seeing that Uncharted Lands coming down and giving some real benefit to quite a few Star Alliance creatures being able to increase those reaps.
Yeah, especially because the only Star Alliance he doesn't actually have a huge amount of creatures in.
Okay.
Only has 3 of them.
Right.
And it's stuff like Tink and Ensign or Samurai, who might not be even reaping.
Very true. And yeah, and then finally the Untamed. Untamed is good, but there's some cards that I feel don't really work with the rest of the deck, like namely the 2 Factory Cabins. You know, you've got a lot of very small creatures in this deck. That means that you'd often just be killing your own stuff, which I feel like, especially with stuff like Daughters that give you a lot of benefit from just sitting on the board doing nothing, you probably wouldn't want to be doing that too much. Similar with the Edie as well.
Yeah, I can see you not playing it in some circumstances. However, you only got 9 creature controls. You might just need it.
Yeah, I looked at the lack of creature control. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think, but this Untamed though, just still very strong. Like Punctual Equilibrium, always a great card to see, really helpful in disrupting your opponent as much as getting you the benefit.
Yeah, stuff like Nature's Call, Flaxia, Ghost Hawk, a lot of very quick Ember generation, Regrowth. A lot of these make good Kirby targets as well.
I was gonna say, yeah, you've had a lot of success yourself with like a Ghost Hawk Kirby kind of move.
Yeah, and it's stuff like Kirby Regrowth, play another Star Alliance creature, Kirby Nature's Call, Kirby something else, and so it all adds up very well. And then the Key Charge to just finish it all off.
Indeed. But yeah, so I think this is going to be some fast key forge, is what we're saying here.
Oh, it's going to be real fast.
If you're doing the bans then, Callum, let's talk about Soadfly's decks first. Which one are you banning?
out of Soadfly's decks? This is actually a difficult question because there's a mix in Dammat's decks about stuff that does need a board and stuff that doesn't. The Worlds Collide one, I think, aggressively does. I think the other two don't. I'd be tempted to ban Vita Hook anyway, I think, because of the redacted.
Yeah, I was thinking Vita Hook too. I think like the thing with Vita Hook is that it just has a lot of ways of kind of going off in all three houses. Whereas, like, for example, Olympia really needs that library access to, I think, fully kind of live up to its potential.
Yeah, I think that's very reasonable. Melon, I think, is to use a phrase that was described one of my decks that's very similar. It's just like there's many ways to beat this deck, but you need them immediately.
Yeah, exactly. It's
And I think Dammat does have them.
Yes, entirely. Let's look at Dammat's decks and work out what we ban from Dammat's decks. Whew. It's like choosing which limb to have cut off, really, isn't it?
Yeah, Liala's been banned the most frequently.
Mm-hmm.
I think because of its sort of good all-round responsiveness.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be very hard to find a matchup that is bad in.
Yeah, exactly.
It kind of does all of the things, and I think to that end, you could see that being banned. The other decks, I think you could always imagine a scenario where it's winnable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd be so scared of Miller. I'd be so scared of Miller having a turn where it just goes, and I win now. And I'd be like,
I mean, they all do that though. This is the problem.
Yeah, but at least with like the others, I can at least feel like I'm doing something. At least I can feel like I'm fighting against something. Whereas Miller, it just kind of goes, and I just play a bunch of Untamed, and you're done. And I'm like, but I want. Oh.
Yeah, and I think with Soadfly playing lots of quick decks himself, you might want to ban, I think, the obviously quickest.
Yes, that's very true.
I don't. I am very lost with the bans here. I think I've usually got some idea, and here I'm just like, I have no clue.
Fair enough. Then
it could be anything, and it could be probably correct.
Yep. Well, let's find out. We'll get into the games now, and we'll see you on the other side.
Bye-bye.
Welcome to the first game of the episode. We have Dammat96 on the top of the screen playing K Miller, Eminenza di Peconomite, and Soadfly on the bottom of the screen playing Olympia, Paladina della Antro Axieo.
Beautiful. So we have some old school Coda v Coda.
And we've seen the bands here was Melon and Leela were banned.
Okay, interesting.
So yeah, clearly worried about the Worlds Collide, but we see Time Traveler straight off the bat for Soadfly.
Only plays the Time Traveler. Wonder why. Wild Wormhole into a ghostly hand.
Oh, Soadfly with a quick skill there.
Pure skill.
And plays a mother for the card draw too.
That's very funny.
But you're going to see Disc and play a Master of 3 from Soadfly and a Pit Demon.
Yeah, so the matchup here, I think, is pure rush on the top versus slightly more controlling on the bottom. And perhaps much more controlling with double Succubus making an early appearance.
Yeah, really counteracting that mother.
Yeah, it's like, oh, hey, you want to draw a card extra? Well, how about you draw 2 less instead?
We can see another ghostly hand there. Fortunately, no Ember to steal this time, but you're going to see an Urchin as well. No one steal. And just, yeah, a lot of Shadows cards coming out here with no stealing. The Matt can't be thrilled, but is on check, so can't be that disappointed either.
Yeah, I've got probably an immediate dis response here unless he's holding something pretty good.
Yeah, I would think so. Master of 3 to kill that Fagin, Pit Demon to steal 1, Reap with a couple of Succubuses would be my thinking.
No, it's got Mars.
It has got Mars. Orbital Bombardment.
Also will take out quite a few things. Yeah, probably Fagin first.
Maybe has the Grabber Jammer too. We're not seeing it coming out here, but I would have thought Grabber Jammer made to stop the Forge. Maybe just letting Dammat have this key, thinking he wants to set up bigger turns for later. He's going to make the soft landing. Combat Pheromones coming in ready.
But obviously not really that great because obviously no Mars creatures in hand seemingly.
Yeah, no, surprising turn there really. I would have thought the Disc would have made more sense, but maybe just looking to get some cards out of hand, doesn't think he can really afford to hang around too much. And remote access to use that Combat Pheromones, can't be thrilled about that if you're Soadfly.
So yeah, gets a key, gets the second mother down, so we're starting to build up these big hands.
And also kills that succubus, so Dammat now drawing up to 7.
Yeah.
Due to
Feeling
that.
like some Untamed might be coming because he's played a lot of early Shadows without Steel and played a lot of Logos.
But we are going to see Pit Demon stealing 1, Reaper with the succubus. And this is where, yeah, you see what we're talking about, the Master of 3. He's going to reap with it, has to kill that succubus.
No, it is a May, so it's okay.
I don't think, well, you just destroyed succubus, so I don't think it is. And he's going to choose control the weeks of course Logos.
It definitely says you may destroy.
Oh, really? Okay. That's a strange one. Oh, gateway to this. Maybe that's why it didn't matter anyway.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay.
Then we've seen a rise to get all of those Dis boys back after the big destruction from the gateway.
Yeah, I can't be happy to see the double succubus come back.
Definitely
very much a rush deck, so wants lots and lots of cards. Goes Logos again.
Well, he's forcing his Logos by the control of the week here.
Then that's probably why, and we'll see if that leads to a pretty solid turn skip.
Library, sloppy lab work here, though. Only going to draw back up to 4 archives, 8 card discards, and Urchin.
This could be a big problem if he can't find a way to deal with this.
Definitely could be, yeah. And I don't
about the creature control being lacking.
We did indeed, and we are going to see a Master of 3 to reap. And if we, this time didn't kill a succubus, so is May. You were correct, and reaping across the board.
Because this could be a huge problem.
It really could be, yeah. And Dammat thinking for a second here. He's going to go with the Untamed, moves the cards from the archive, plays a Hunting Witch, plays a Snufflegator, another Hunting Witch, the Snufflegator, Nature's Call, probably going to return. I'd imagine those two succubuses, I would think. Just want them to get that card draw, and maybe a Snufflegator, get another Ember, or maybe the Pit Demon. No, goes for the Pit Demon too.
Just puts all of it back, slowing his opponent's drawdown, making what probably play them. But that's not the burst you would have wanted. You do not want.
No, but I think it was just more important for Dammat just to get those creatures, get those succubuses off the board, get his draw back up, get him kind of reaming through the deck like he wants to.
Oh yeah, it's very correct call, but he'll be sad about having to do it.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And we are going to see Soadfly even sadder. They're probably just to play that this turn where he's just playing the cards that he had returned last turn back out of his hand.
But again, very strong play.
Yeah. And we are going to see Dammat having a bit of a think here, deciding on the house. May go Untamed just to get rid of those succubuses. And we are going to see that Hunting Witch.
Another Hunting Witch.
Snuffgate, yep, fighting the succubuses, just getting rid of those, wanting to keep being able to draw cards. And that's it, though. Some really shaky turns being taken by both players here. I think both just having the tools to cancel out each other's strategies and knowing I need to get rid of this for me to play my game.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like both managing to present such a huge threat that it must be dealt with immediately, or you will probably lose.
Indeed, I mean, I want to see the Pit Demon steal one.
Fight another Hunting Witch.
Fight with the Hunting Witch, yep. But unfortunately, with the Ritual of Balance, Soadfly can't be not got checked. But you've got to think Dammat not wanting to take another Untamed turn.
Seems unlikely.
And Dammat having a think here. I've got to think I was going to say Shadows, but Logos is what we see. Library of Battle to draw a card. Haven't seen that library access yet. Are we going to see?
There isn't one.
No, I'm thinking of Soadfly's deck. But we are going to see an interdimensional graft just for the Ember, though. A lab work. And a Ganymede Archivist, a Mother.
So building up that large hand again to get ready for some Untamed stuff.
Yep, and Soadfly, though, getting the second key, playing as Zizix the Many. Ixley Marauder. Unfortunately, no ready Mars creature to take the benefit from that. But
yeah, you had the bad luck earlier of hitting the stuff like the soft landing and the combat pheromones without the creatures. It just takes a very... I mean, it was a decent turn, but by the standards of these two decks, a mediocre turn.
Yes, indeed, indeed. And I think this is what we were saying about Soadfly's deck is it's really looking to get that big library access turn nice and early, get that big card draw, really kind of filter out the Logos from the deck so you can set up these big Mars turns, and it doesn't seem to have done that yet, which is...
Yeah, it's done a reasonable job with the Dis of presenting threats and causing problems and slowing down the pure rush, but it feels like it's starting to stall out a little bit.
Yeah, running out of gas a little bit. I mean, Soadfly on 2 keys, though, so we can't say he's doing too badly, but we are going to see Untamed here. And the Common Cold here going to take out the Mars.
Oh, what a day.
Not what you see every day. And the Snufflegator finishing off that Pit Demon. Reap with the Snufflegator.
There is absolutely...
That's the Chota Hatchery for the second key, too.
Nice.
Oh,
big swing. Now it looks relatively even with Dammat having the board of 5 creatures. Block
Yeah,
discards the key charge.
I say Dammat in a much more commanding position here. You know, knows you've still got a lot of shadows to come. I think we've only seen one Urchin thus far,
Ooh,
so
unarchives something. Is the library access coming?
sees a Time Traveler maybe looking for the library access with that. Not seeing the Help from Future Self yet, I don't believe. We are going to see the Graft. Useless now, obviously, because 2 keys have been forged by Dammat. Plays the Mother, plays another Mother. 3 Mothers on the field.
Was holding out for that library access.
And just didn't quite get it. And now we're going to see the Shadows. And lights out. Going to return those Mothers.
Wonder if he's now drawn the library access.
And there's the Urchin. There's the Carlo Phantom, Mace's Asp, Silvertooth.
Building a fight. A hefty board.
Just goes to the Reap with the Silvertooth. And what does Soadfly do here? I mean, the thing with returning those Mothers is, if he does have the library access here, that's actually going to be quite beneficial for Soadfly. You know, it means he's got more cards to whap down with it, more, which is useful, but we'll see if he has it. Also potential to return that Time Traveler to the deck if he wants to use that library access. And we are seeing logos here.
And it's not a big deck at this point either.
It is thin, skinny. You can draw with the Library of Babel. What are we going to see?
Gotta think he's desperately trying to find that library access.
Phase shift first. Maybe Battle Fleet first into the library access is what we could be seeing. We do see the Battle Fleet. Draw. Only draws 2 cards, though. I think he must be really digging here.
He's desperately looking for it.
And this is the times like these where you really wish you could see the hands to see what's going on here for Soadfly, because I feel like there is something really interesting swinging these decisions that he's making.
It's got to be that he's looking for the library access, I think.
You would think so, yeah. But Fogify off the Wild Wormhole. I gotta think it must be in those bottom 5 cards. Use Wild Wormhole again to play a Fear. Maybe return a Mother, I'd say. Would be my decision.
Probably. Maybe one of the Shadows creatures.
Yeah, yeah, Carlo Phantom, I can see. Yeah. And plays the Time Trap. Nope, Time Traveler's already on the board. Plays another Mother. And Lab Work.
Real rough.
But is it on check here?
Yeah, we're good.
And plays the Help Future Self as well. I don't know if Dammat has a great way to knock him off at the moment. He's going to play the Time Traveler again after the Help Future Self is returned to the deck.
Trying to think of that size.
Phase shift into something. What is it going to be? And Poltergeist to use Library of Babel. Draws another card. Soadfly's going off here. Does Dammat have a response?
Even without the library access, still a crazy turn.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if we are going to see Untamed. Are we going to see a Nature's Call here? Is there enough Untamed?
He's going to Nature's Call the Choda.
Plays the Flaxia, yeah, and I think that's what we're going to see here.
He's
cooperative hunting,
making us wait. Might not be there.
I think it definitely, because he's got 2. We saw in Nature's Call. Has he only got 1 or 2 in the deck? Because we saw 1 earlier.
There's 2.
Yeah, we only saw 1 earlier, and there's Nature's Call. There we go. And the GG from Leo Linici, who is also streaming this in Italian. So any viewers who are speaking Italian and aren't already aware of this, I'm very surprised if you're not. But yes, we both decided to stream this with this being a top of the table clash, and Soadfly not having had any English commentary thus far. We really wanted to get some English commentary on this game, especially with these 2 titans of Italian Keyforge.
Also, we thought it would be pretty great, which is holding up so far, because that was quite a match.
Definitely is, yeah.
I'm usually dismissive of Kota, but that was very, very interesting for once.
Yeah, some high octane Keyforge with Dammat taking the first game of the matchup, and we will join you shortly for the second game. Thank you. Hi, welcome to the second game of the episode. Once again, we have Soadfly and Dammat. This time we have Soadfly on the top of the screen, playing Olympia Paladina della Antro Ateo, and Dammat playing B.E. Wadsworth Arcier dello Settissimo. And
so, Soadfly sticking?
Yep. Dammat obviously twisting because he has to.
That's how it goes.
We are seeing we're using the chains method of deciding who goes first. I've been explained to me that this does work. I still don't fully understand how it works, but people seem to be confident that it does. And
yeah, people who are cleverer than us have assured us that this is perfectly fine.
Yeah. And yep, but we are seeing Soadfly being made the first player here. And there we go. And we are going to see a mulligan from Soadfly and Dammat mulliganing as well.
So the question then is, are we going to see Big Saurians take it over Coda?
I mean, I always think that big Saurians are going to take over everything because they're big Saurians and that's what they do. Ooh, Succubus though. So
Good turn one.
very good turn one. And Dammat's going to choose some Saurians. Tribune Pompatus, always a nice one to see coming out of the gates early. Get a bit of Ember on that. And Quest Charter as well. Not a great opening turn though, only a couple of cards. Couldn't deal with that Succubus either. And Soadfly is going to get the chance to capitalize here with the Mars turn. Auto Bombardment. Probably, yep, going to take out that Quest Charter with 2 damage from the Zizix to Many in the soft landing. There is Zizix to Many. Gotta think, yep, we're going to get a Reap here. Are we going to see a creature revealed? We are going to reveal a Pit Demon, get that Zizix to Many to 6 power.
The chunk begins.
Indeed it does. And of course, no common cold in this matchup to sneeze himself to death with.
I still can't believe we saw that actually pay off.
Yeah. Okay, and we're going to see a Hawk here. No, yeah, so it's not many artifacts really in Soadfly's deck that you really want to hit a Hawk with. Quite happy just to kind of let it be used just for getting Ember. And we are going to see a Running Wrist Clocks and a Spike Trap as well, bringing Dammat's Ember total up to 3. With a cheeky steal on Soadfly in there.
Does have the Spike Trap all ready for Brand. Is clearly thinking about something now.
And Matt having a bit of a think here. A little consider.
Clearly has chosen to value the Spike Trap as a useful tool because he could have played it and then hocked it.
He could have done, yeah, but I think
for some burst. But
yeah, I think it's more for kind of stuff like Brent is kind of the discussion that we were having, and too much protect just for the end.
Okay,
definitely a big decision worth thinking about there.
Yeah, because obviously with potentially some pretty big library access turns.
And I think it's more the case for Dammat that we talked about in the deck chat, but this isn't a fast deck. You know, this is 3.3 speed, which means that when you're throwing away that too much protect, you're probably not seeing it again. But probably Dammat deciding it's not worth chaining himself for a long time just to kind of see what happens. He's kind of thinking, no, look, I need to advance my game plan. I need to like play my cards and just be like, look, I'm going to work out other ways to control the Ember for Soadfly. And Matt,
it's very interesting. We do have a confirmation that Liala, the sort of mass mutation all-rounder, was banned.
Yes. And
got to think that teammates, they know that pretty well and can probably trust that choice.
Yeah, Soadfly, Combat Pheromones was played on his turn as well as his many, reaping to reveal a Master of 3, getting him to 9 power. Tribune Pompatus is going to fight that Succubus, get Dammat's card draw up again, play a couple of Saurians. Not great turns from Dammat, and I got to think that Succubus actually had a really big effect on him, you know, really limiting his card draw, and already, as I've said, slower deck.
Yeah, contributed to him tossing the TMTP.
Indeed. And Soadfly, how I think he has that big Zizix and many bearing down onto Matt's board.
Could take out the Brutodon.
Could do. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we just kind of see it Combat Pheromones for it to like reap another time, get it up to 12 power. I suppose there's a fair bit of control in Dammat's deck where it could get destroyed, but
there's also just like archiving away those disc creatures.
Indeed.
Ready for potentially some sort of post-gateway big disc turn.
Exactly that. Soadfly just having a bit of a consider here, trying to decide which aspect it goes with Logos in the end. What in Logos will he play?
Found the library access this time. Nope, starts off with the help from yourself.
Just getting that Time Traveler out of the deck. Here he is, the Time Traveling lad. Time Traveler, like that, draw cards, 1 Ember, lab work, archiving something, and quite a big, presumably archiving more discs here. You know, we've already seen the Pit Demon, the Master of 3 in the archive. Got to think, building up towards that bigger disc turn. And we see a phase shift too.
What's he going to phase shift
And a
into?
hand of disc. I think Tribune Pompatus to be taken out. Maybe the Bruce on auxiliary actually.
Yeah,
That
maybe
taunt.
because then you can use the combat pheromones and the Zizix to sort of fight off one of these things to the board.
Yeah, but no, it goes to Tribune
I
Pompatus.
don't know.
I think that's sensible. I think Tribune Pompatus can be made bigger with the kind of exalting in various ways. So you don't want that to get out of hand. You want to kind of nip it in the bud, especially where you can also make other things bigger too. We are going to see combat pheromones and Reaps with the Zizix. Is he going to reveal a creature? He reveals another Zizix the Many and gets up to 12 power.
So just wants to archive there. It's not archiving a non-Mars creature even.
And you see Saurian here. Easy for me to say. Philophosaurus going to be used to archive a card,
right.
move a card to hand, and discard a card. He's not going to know what he moves to hand. Not going to know what he archives, but we are going to know what he discards, which I think might be an interesting decision. I think that's the thing with Philophosaurus. It's such a good card, and you're functionally almost drawing 3 cards, which sounds weird when obviously you're only actually drawing 1, but you know, you're discarding a card that you don't want anyway, you're archiving a card you want later, and you're getting to move a card to hand. So such a good combo of cards. It gets the Imperial Scutum on it.
Discards the Buzzle. So I think primarily wants to just protect that Philophosaurus.
Definitely does, yeah. And Mars is going to be their house from Soadfly. Plays a battle fleet. How much Mars does he have in hand to benefit? Let's find out. 4 cards. Big battle fleet there.
Didn't even pick up the 1 in the archive either.
Did not. No, clearly. I think clearly must have like other discs in there then. And yep, fights with the Zizix to kill that Brutodon. Probably is going to reveal another card put in the archive. I've got to think here. Reveals a Succubus. Yep. Gets that up to now 15 power. That's a big Zizix.
A chunky boy.
And we're going to see a Squawker. And we're going to see him ready to again. Going back into battle is this Zizix.
Captures 1 with the Marauder, which is nice.
I've got to think, yeah, this Philosophosaurus, though, is not long for this world. Zizix pointing its gun at it, ready to pull the trigger. And yeah, there we go. Fights it. Doesn't archive again, though. Maybe doesn't have another creature to put in there, or doesn't have another creature he wants to put in there. But yeah, 12 power, 12 damage on a Zizix. He has done his work and he's earned his corn today.
I wonder if we see a no safety in numbers here. Otherwise, this Mars board could become a problem.
Yeah, Dammat, though, does get his first key of the game. Forging, yep. And Soadfly obviously on 1 key as well. Dammat couldn't stop him earlier. We're going to see Shadows.
Yeah, Kia piece. Wadsworth on the bottom has more of the Ember control in the Brens and the Ronnies. Olympia is much lighter on the Ember controls. I'm not going to see huge amounts of keys stopped here. It's sort of who can set up a big, fast Ember generation machine quicker.
Yeah, and I think this is the thing. I think Soadfly is actually quite well set up for kind of just getting to like 6 or 7 Ember quite a lot and not worrying too much about that TMTP.
Yeah, and it's gone as well, so it doesn't even need to show that level of restraint.
Very true, very true. And Dammat,
at least for a while,
has gone Shadows is thinking, I've got to think maybe you'll see a spike. I think the hope here is like a spike trap Brend would be a really good time for this. You know, stealing 3/3 in Soadfly's pool could also take out that Zizix, stop it getting any bigger, and challenging your bigger Saurian threats. But I think this game not going great for Dammat though. You know,
no, very much.
Haven't seen the spiral out early, which you really want to see. Had to use that Scutum, so
okay, there we go.
Very nice.
Fights the Ronnie off the board. Trust no one to steal 2, and then a no save numbers to take out. I think we might see
the spike trap as well. Just finish everything off.
Possibly. Maybe. Again, I think you save that for a Brend.
I think you do. Very true. Yeah.
Because the rest of your creature control is a bit slower, and you've already used one of the no safety in numbers.
Yeah, but it's going to pester that Tunk, and yeah, you are correct. Just going to leave the strike trap for later. See, logos coming out here from Soadfly. And so Time Traveler is going to return to the deck. Maybe would have been interesting to see that Pestering Blow on that Time Traveler. Kind of just means that, you're now going to get much more of a chance of redrawing the Time Traveler, as we've seen here.
Or playing it off a wild wormhole in the middle of the library access nonsense.
It's pretty nice. And we're seeing... I don't know what that Italian means, but I'm guessing it means, for fuck's sake, would be my estimation.
Soadfly has paid his tribute to Aaron Jesus today. The wormhole is with him.
Indeed it is.
And this is it's going to be big. Oh, no. Stop.
Apparently not.
But
Well, I think we had seen quite a lot of logos coming out earlier from Soadfly was maybe the problem. So that actually wasn't as
this
much
is true.
logos
It
left in his deck to draw into.
is now on an 8-card hand with 5 in the archives. So
Yes, he is. And Dammat, they're going to choose some Dis here. I haven't seen Dis all game from Dammat, I don't believe.
and with a big 8-card hand, there could be a big fair game coming here.
They very much could be. I didn't even think of that. So plays the Exhume, going to be able to steal with the Ronnie wrist locks off of that.
Yeah, although perhaps not with the fair game, because then I might have saved the Ronnie.
Yeah, we have just seen the graph though too, so don't have to play around that. If your Dammat can just kind of quite freely hit it. Plays the Buzzles, purge the Dendrix. Maybe fights the Tunk here. Can't be expecting to see another Logo Stone, but maybe just kind of fights a Mother and then purges the running wrist clocks. Thinking not going to draw into that again. No, just goes to the
Reaps. Does not have the fair game to take advantage of the big hand, which is unfortunate, I think, for Dammat.
Definitely so, yeah.
Prime opportunity.
Could have really been a good way to kind of get him a bunch of Ember. And here's the disc coming out of archives. I think we're going to see a lot of cards whapped down on the field right here.
Yeah, because we've seen him archive a bunch of creatures. Has a potential Arise.
Definitely does, yeah. And I think got a lot of Mars in the discard at the moment. You'd be happy to Arise too.
Could be pretty spicy.
Yeah, we have already seen that Battle Fleet, so no chance of that being set up. But I think Soadfly just kind of thinking here, maybe trying to decide what he's going to hit with that Arise.
Big pauses. As this game is relatively evenly balanced.
It is,
Dammat,
yeah.
I think a little bit ahead, but Soadfly having the big hand and the better board.
Poltergeist to hit the Spike Trap takes out the Buzzle and the Ronnie for Dammat.
Potentially a big deal because these succubuses are now much stickier.
The succubus are safer, and then also, like, I think we've been talking about quite a few times here, but that Brend now has one less way of being killed kind of easily for Dammat, kind of removes that utility as much. I'm going to make it much harder for Dammat to use that Ember Control effectively. Now I was going to see a bunch of cards being hit down by Soadfly.
When the control the weak, putting him back into Dis, so we could get a full turn skip here.
Plays the Fear, discards the Fear rather, but can't quite get to check, unfortunately. And Dammat using Dis, plays the Poltergeist to get rid of that Library of Babel, play the Binding Irons. So
the problem is you're looking at a situation where your opponent has a 4-card advantage on you. 2 mothers, 2 succubuses.
There's
now
fair
hits
game.
the fair game. But gives the key to Soadfly.
Oh, that is a backfire. But Dammat on 5 Ember, 2 keys. Presumably those Pit Demon's going to knock him off here, but this game's on a knife edge.
Yeah, what have they got in hand? Soadfly has the Arise, which is potentially really big. We do know that he has that Dammat has the no safety numbers, but this is the thing with the Arise there. Even if he wipes this board, it can just come back immediately with the Arise.
It can indeed, yeah. We're probably going to see these 2 Pit Demons yet, both stealing an Ember from Dammat. Will Soadfly get to check here? Discards the Fear. No fear from Soadfly.
And this sort of we've seen
discuss the gateway to Dis, understandably. Can't quite though get to that check. And there's a no safety in numbers, gonna hit both of those succubuses, a Mother and a Time Traveler. Chimera Eclipse.
Chimera them. Plays a Ronnie now, I think, was there.
And that's all he can do though. Dammat can't get to check.
Ronnie. Yeah, and now we're going to see the big Arise, I imagine, and these succubuses are going to come back down. We're going to get some steals and some reaps.
They are indeed, but you've got to question whether Dammat has got the cards that he needed. I think that's maybe what that big turn was about. It's about saying, right, I need to just draw back up to 6. I need to try and get through as much of my deck as possible to get the answers that I need.
Yeah, and I just think you had to hit that Dis board. You had to kill it.
Yep, I'm going to see Reap and a Steal from that Dis board.
And
Goes to
there's
the Arise, gets those succubuses back, and concession by Dammat clearly doesn't have the ability to knock Soadfly off of the 7.
Yeah, basically Soadfly burying him in card advantage.
Indeed,
A deck
it did,
that
yeah.
does not have much speed.
Not at
Getting
all.
taken out by giant library access turns, big battle fleet turns, big boards full of disc creatures, and also just never got the Saurians running.
I think excellent play from Dammat, but it also felt like he just didn't get his deck in a great order either. Really, you know, just kind of like key cards come in later than he would have liked them to, or earlier than he would like them to in other cases.
Yeah,
never saw the spiral, never saw the Rex.
Not many Saurians to sort of fight for control of that board.
Not at all, no. Well, we will be going to game 3 of this. No need for our usual sealed banter, and we will join you there shortly.
I'm sure the viewers are devastated.
Sure they are. See you in a bit. Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to game 3 of the episode. Of course, we've now both seen both of these decks before. We have we haven't actually, because Soadfly's stuck. So we are going to see Soadfly on top of the screen playing Vida Hook, Messaggera di Delfino Vitale, and Dammat96 on the bottom playing B.E. Wadsworth, Acriero dello Setismo. And Buzzle coming out first.
Big early play. So Melon gets banned, no Zoomy Worlds Collide. So we have very quick Mass Mutation versus very quick, I think slightly less quick Worlds Collide.
Cronus here gonna come out. Dinobot gonna kill that Buzzle. And Redacted straight out
early
the gates.
Redacted, that could be real big.
Soadfly very happy with that.
We do have a Hawk and a Poltergeist in Dammat's deck. So he was probably not. I'm there.
Well, there it goes.
Well,
it came as quick as it went.
Thus ends our excitement about Redacted.
It does indeed. But yeah, 4 Ember for Dammat coming out the gates hot, nice and fast. But Soadfly, will he have a response? And I think maybe Soadfly saying sort of like an instant response. I think something along those lines. I don't see a Matter Maker though, and a Sense Chief Garcia putting a stunner on it. And a Soul Keeper, and we are seeing that Matter Maker used immediately to put that Soul Keeper on the Sense Chief Garcia.
Just really nice efficiency. It's not the best card, but I just kind of like it. It's very thematically appropriate for Star Alliance, I think.
It is, yeah. And here is Sinister's Rex. Dangerous though, playing it this early, especially with only one creature on Soadfly's board. Gotta think he might be tempted just to kill off that Sense Chief Garcia to take out. Oh, Gateway to this, kill everything. And there's got a Cinder there with a draw. Maleficorn puts behind a Cinder. A nice card is Maleficorn, just kind of increases the power of any damage icons. And with Maleficorn giving you 5 or 3 damage icons, generally gives you plenty of that to take advantage of. But puts the Pain Mail on the Maleficorn.
Interesting Pain Mail here, because obviously with 2 disc stacks, it's going to be triggering very frequently.
It is,
but I think that's going to be that's overall going to pay off for Soadfly because of the Matter Maker.
Yeah, I think Soadfly just wanting the Ember off the Pain Mail and maybe not valuing the Maleficorn too much as it immediately gets destroyed. Binding Irons on Soadfly, giving him up to 5 chains with that Gateway to Dis as well. So going to be a slower draw from Soadfly, which suits Dammat down to the ground.
I think it does, sort of, especially when that deck's looking to cycle a lot.
Dammat having a bit of a think here. Discards the fair game, not going to risk it.
Not with him having a reasonably sized hand still and on 4 Ember, and discards both fair games.
Yeah, possibly burned by Soadfly forging that key off of the fair game in the first game, maybe a bit more wary of it than he was previously. And Cronus either side of the Cinder. Are we going to see a draw icon to take advantage? No, we're going to see a Q-Mex going to put a damage on Cinder.
I think did pick up his archive, so might just Pain Mail the Q-Mex there, which is another very handy combo.
Yeah, very nice to put on there, and also puts a Stealthster on the Cinder too.
Oh shit, because you can do that every turn.
Yeah.
Because obviously, whenever someone calls Dis, you can play the Q-Mex with the Logos next turn, and then the Pain Mail with the thing.
But now that Q-Mex being destroyed with a Pestering Blow, it means that Pain Mail goes to the discard as well.
And I think Dammat's going to be pretty happy about that.
Yeah, Dammat's going to be pretty happy. And also, Rig Lottery there, gaining 3 if your Dammat does discard the Brenda Fanatic and the TMTP, though. So, happy to get that Ember, but unhappy for what it cost him. Dammat, they're getting to 10 Ember, and Soadfly, I don't think they've really got great mass Ember control responses to this.
No, it's mass mutation, so it's not really there.
True, but in the houses, something you might see an Effervescent Principles who use for this. You might see an Anthony, but neither of those on the table for Soadfly.
So a decent burst from Dammat. We'll see if Soadfly's got a good response.
QMX gonna draw a card, plays a daughter for even more card draw, and dealing another damage to Cinder. So that armor of that Cinder just taking a beating from his own side. Poor guy. And reaps with the Cronus, reaps with the other Cronus, takes him up to 7. And plays a Disruption Field onto the Cinder. But Dammat is going to force for 6 here. First blood going to him, getting that first key. Soadfly on 8, though. Can Dammat stop him?
Yeah, and the problem is that unless this big Logos board is dealt with quickly, we could get to another situation where he's just out card played.
Indeed, out card played.
Need a better word. I need a better specific term to describe losing a match mostly because the other person has more cards than you.
Yeah, I think losing to card advantage probably is.
I mean that was the one I said earlier.
Not finished. Just to return the Brand, being quite selective. The Evil Eye to stop Soadfly from forging, and Dammat is up to 6 here.
So the 33 expected Ember of this deck is coming out now.
Discards the Dendrix too, maybe not wanting to give Cinder anything to fight into, just wanting to make it reap, destroy his own creatures with it. But with the QMX, I don't think he'd be too upset about that. Eclectic Inquiry off of the Lead Logica. Discards an Anguish and a Gleeful Mayhem.
It's just going to try and burst and reap out here. Knows the TMTP is gone.
Does, yeah, and I gotta think that's big as well. So like seeing that TMTP going, just knowing he's free to make as much Ember as he pleases, which he is gonna do. So on to 15.
But not much in the way of control at all. With the Anguish gone, Garcia was coming gone. Disruption Field might do it, but there's very little. So I think knows he's just in a race.
Yep, and he's going to discard the Red Alert too, understandably. Doesn't seem like Dammat's going to get a board anytime soon, but is going to get a key as he goes 2-0 up. But with Soadfly having so much Ember, now I'm going to see the Golden Spiral and the Auto Legionary, but Saurians not known for their big burst out of hand, really.
I mean, that's not true. You got Tribute, 6 Ember, all sorts of nonsense.
No, that's not burst, though. That's like... but it's not that we have in this deck, and also...
No, this deck doesn't do it. Let's not get distracted by that conversation. We'll save that for later.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dammat is on like a 3-turn clock.
Yes,
basically.
Indeed.
So unless he can find a Harbinger, which I think is the board answer he has left.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a way of killing that Harbinger, though, on the turn either. He's going to need a turn to set up before it can like run itself into something, I do believe. Dammat, going to switch on manual. Maybe some mistake here. Interesting. Meant to discard the Odoak, I suppose. I suppose, again, not wanting to give Cinder something to fight into would be my assumption. That's a curious one, though.
Discards the
Philosophersaurus too.
Have we seen the Trust No One?
I don't believe... I think... Yes,
No, I think
Trust No One was discarded off of the Rig Lottery. It was. Yes.
So I don't necessarily know what he's up to. I think you're right. It is about Cinder, but I'm not 100%.
I got it.
Yeah, so Soadfly going to reap out.
Yeah, he is indeed. Reaps with Dinobot. Is he going to discard something here? Discards the Hayden Oswin to draw a card. And goes up to 14 Ember. I don't know if Dammat has a way to respond to this, really. It just seems... I'm surprised he's used a Spike Trap here. Even just to kind of kill one Cronus gives one less Reap to Soadfly. I suppose isn't thinking it'll make a difference. But I just can't fathom what Dammat's digging for here. We see a Ronnie Rittock going to steal 2. Another Ronnie Rittock steals another 2.
Okay, this is where he might get to enough Ember to win this if he has the Brand.
He might do... No, the Brand was discarded off the Rig Lottery as well.
Oof.
That was why the Rig Lottery, I think, was so big. Trust No One, and Brand.
Loses your big answers.
Yeah, it was like you got 3 Ember off them, though, but I think it was a heavy price to pay for that 3 Ember. And I think that the Taxman are coming to collect onto Matt right now as he is struggling to get this 3rd key, and Soadfly is running away with this game.
Yeah, just sometimes if your opponent can't stop you reaping for 5 or 6 Ember every turn, that's very easily enough to win you the game.
Yeah, very rarely you see Logos being the house, though, to be reaping for 5 or 6 Ember.
That is unusual. Not really the sort of chunky board presence.
Dammat pausing here. I think maybe having a bit of a think.
The small scientists, they are too powerful.
Yeah. Once again, a cabal of scientists and robots are overcoming someone.
I mean, Saurian board presence, clearly just nothing.
Yeah.
Can't handle the might of Logos.
Yeah, well, I think you had that kind of early gateway to diss from Soadfly, which I think was very damaging to Dammat's game plan.
Yeah, cleared off the Cincinnati Rex.
Yeah, and I think clearly Dammat's deck being very good. I think part of the problem here is just like lack of card draw. Just means that.
Wait, did he reshuffle the Brandon? Was I not finished with you?
Oh yes, of course he did. You are. I completely forgot about that. He did indeed reshuffle the Brandon. Well remembered, Callum.
So there may be Brand's coming.
There may indeed be a Brand coming, but I feel like if there was a Brand coming, we would have seen it by now.
Yeah, I don't quite know what this pause is about.
I think we're just thinking. Penso. Yep, that is the Italian for thinking.
Welcome to Lessons from Italian with Team Squeech Bomb.
My flatmate speaks Italian, so I did check this before the game, and it does mean thinking.
Good to know. And yet, we still just use Google Translate and guessing for the pronunciation and translating of the text. Well, many of which were in Italian.
That bit's fun. I don't know. It's just because when I was recording this game last night, I just asked, and I was like, what does this mean? And she was like, I'm 99% sure it means thinking.
Yeah, I mean, it does, because, like, pense is the French verb for think.
Oh, the spike trap that just hits the Ronnie. Clearly not having Brand then in hand.
Yeah. And was just wondering what to do with the spike traps. Yeah. Gets rid of some of the Logos, but can still just reap 4 times.
Yeah, I can't think what Dammat has now to...
I'm not sure he has anything, because I think losing the spike trap means he can't kill the Brand immediately. He can't no safety with numbers because the Ronnie wrist clocks are gone.
Yeah, it's no big Ember control in Saurian. You've not got tributes. You've not got Retta Gallums, anything like that.
Might be over.
Might be. Yeah. We've already seen the Evil Eye as well, which could have been handy.
Also, to continue our word shenanigans, penso in Italian probably comes from the same origin as the English word pensive. I assume.
One would assume.
Oh, thank God, they're playing Keyforge again.
And here we are, going to see a reap out.
Gonna reap out. Yeah.
I don't think Dammat has a response to this.
And the Dinobot, providing him with that additional efficiency each turn as well, gets to keep drawing.
Yeah, discarding cards is not going to be like Grim Reminder, definitely not going to be useful anytime soon. Dammat goes for the disc, exhumes. Ooh.
Exhumes the Ronnie.
Does he... Is it not enough though? Yeah. As Soadfly takes the 3rd key and the game, and this group just got busted wide open here. Dammat undefeated thus far, taken down by his teammate.
Only person to defeat him thus far.
Indeed. But
which puts Soadfly on 4 wins, 1 loss, the same as Dammat. Quick maths means they are exactly tied on points as well.
Oh, I mean, I don't know how it will be. If they both win the final game then by the same number, I don't know. Will it be decided by head-to-heads? Could this have an implication on that front? I don't quite know.
I don't know. I've been trying not to think about it in the tournament because it just messes with my concentration in the games, which I'm playing.
Fair enough. Well,
so we may find out next week.
We may do indeed. But thank you very much for watching. I've been David, Baron von Fabulous Lark.
And I'm Callum, the good Dr. Young.
We've been Team Screech Bomb. Thank you very much for listening, and goodbye.
Bye-bye.